Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the channel again for another video on the USTC wallet that contains 800 million of those coins. And this wallet has become somewhat of a nuisance. We've seen this once before with the multi-signature wallet. No one wanted to take ownership of it. It is strange that we keep doing this, but it's got to a point where you need to be very specific as to what you're getting at with a proposal. The shorter, the better. The quicker you can get to the point, the easier you can iterate what your intent and purposes are with what's going on. The more chance you're going to have at succeeding. Something else that comes with posting proposals is actually trust in the community and from the validator base. And a lot of people struggle to go and reach out to the validators, to speak with them and to really brush with them before they take any drastic steps to put up such a proposal, which in itself it screams no off of the bat. Blacklist this wallet. It's dangerous to say the least, because a validator could say to themselves, and I would say to them myself if I didn't know who the proposer was, what the idea behind it was, if I wasn't that much in the know in the community like a lot of validators are, I would simply think to myself, well, if we let this person blacklist this wallet, what if they then want to blacklist my wallet that's been inactive for this amount of time? So there are a few conundrums with this, and this is why I'm doing this video, to kind of go through my thoughts at the moment with you as to what I'm thinking, because it's up for vote at the moment and there's been a bit of a drastic change in the vote. Now, we need to look at this and really try to simplify it. There's 800 million USTC in a wallet that is owned by Risk Harbor. It was given to them via proposal, so they own it. It belongs to them at that point. Now, Risk Harbor deals specifically with funds, Risk Harbor. So I find it hard to believe that they have lost the keys, and I guess that's why this proposer has followed this route, is because I wouldn't believe for a second they've lost the keys. For starters, a multi-signature wallet doesn't actually require a key. It requires a sequence of addresses. So if three of you were to create a multi-signature wallet, in order for you to do that, you would need the three wallets you wanted to use, and they need to go in an order. If you want to recover that wallet, you need to put those in that order again, and then it simply brings up the MS wallet. And the only way to do something is if all three of the correct wallets perform a multi-signature sign. So with this all being said, I find it hard to believe that they've lost the keys, because there's no keys actually involved in this to begin with. Now, if they are actually lost, then they're already blacklisted. Deduct the amount of the supply that has been lost from the actual total supply. Bish bash bosh, you've done the job. Blacklisting them and really making a scene out of blacklisting is not a good look. It's not a good look externally, internally, heavens above, heavens below. It's not a good look, okay? Because it's always going to be the same thing. This is DeFi. It's supposed to be your wallet, your coins. It's unfair, right? And we completely break the rules to benefit ourselves. And ultimately, this isn't even something that I think would make the price shoot up. In fact, it was my understanding from historical data, which is accurate in what it shows, is that a substantial burn of USTC makes the price dump by about 100%, especially when it's being anticipated, and it has the reverse effect. We've seen it before. I hate to be the guy to point out, and I hate to be the person to say it, but that's the truth. That's what historical data has led us to believe is going to happen. And until someone does a substantial burn and something different happens, that's what we've got to go off at this point. We have to look at things as mature, as adults, as a business. So with this all being said, right, this just needs to be forgotten about. We need to stop chasing ghost wallets, ghost funds that lead to nothing. We have zero control over. There's so many more things that we could be doing. We have so many people who have direct connections to certain people, and they won't pass those on. They'll try to act like a middleman, and all of these different things, but they don't want you to get those credentials because they don't want you to ever be in a situation where you don't need them or their uses are done at that point. I think it's so important that people with direct links share those direct links to others who wish to get in direct communication with those people, because it's so important. So for this, like I said, I would honestly just rather see the back end of all of this stuff right now and just focus on what's important. This in itself led the USTC repeg team to just, and this is just my opinion, I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but it just led to the quant team chasing this for like 2 months for $40,000 for nothing. No repeg, no burn, no nothing. And just like I said at the beginning, it would all lead to nothing, because no matter what you do with the USTC repeg, you're always going to be left with one of two issues, right? You can't get the collateral, or the mechanism that you're relying on is actually just a variable in an equation. And if that variable's not hit correctly and it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, it's not going to work. So relying on people that are going to sell the USTC below peg value to build up collateral, it's a variable. It's not something that's guaranteed, and you're just going off a kind of maybe it can happen, maybe it won't. There's zero use cases on our chain for USTC. And people are like, well, it's a stable coin. Yes, it's got to get to that point first. No one's trading on our chain for the simple fact that the gas is all messed up. Nothing's calculated correctly. You're taxed 3 or 4 times. As a validator, you're taxed 3 times minimum when you withdraw your commission, period. How would you feel as a community member if you got taxed 3 times from point A to point C? You'd be very upset. Some people do get taxed that much, depending on how much moves they have to make. Sometimes we get taxed more, but it all shouldn't be like this. And this all, once again, rolls back to this idea of just following things that are completely out of our reach. We've got no way of building the collateral to repeg USTC unless we pretty much capitulate Luna Classic, and we draw from this chain to maybe, just maybe, save the stable. And people will say, well, this chain's nothing without a stable, and that's completely wrong, because we've been without a stable for a year and 5 months, and we've got on pretty fine. If anything, we dragged the thing with us. If anything, it's been a burden on us because it pumps when we pump. So the liquidity is also going somewhere else other than the chain. And I think at this point where we're at, we need to start thinking to ourselves, build into chain, deploy on chain, build everything on chain, and show that we can do everything. We can self-regulate, we can get things going, we can make things, do stuff on chain, because it's at that point, right? Instead of going to a CEX and going, we've got this really good mechanism to make you a lot of money, and here's the calculations and here's the tests, right? They're going to go, yeah, we'll get back to you. And you're going to be waiting, you're going to be waiting, you're going to be waiting, you're going to be waiting. And what they're going to be waiting for is something drastic to happen inside our community. If everybody remembers when we were pumping, KuCoin wanted to do buybacks and burns. MEXC were doing buybacks and burns. You had all of these different players wanting to get involved in the chain for the simple fact there was money to be made. And that's the biggest difference, is that if you build it on this chain, they will come. Kevin Costner, call me whatever you want, but that is the bare bone reality of everything right now. Chasing ghosts and chasing things like this and people trying to cut corners and try, it's not getting us anywhere. It's been a year and 5 months. I'm so excited to see the dynamic commission module. I'm so excited to get that deployed and then move on to the dynamic tax module. I think it's so important. Now, with the pay per milestone system, currently we don't have any paid teams anyway, which is bloody brilliant from where I'm sitting. I don't know about you folks. Let me know in the comment section, but we're at a point now where enterprise is going to be Cosmos wide. Everything we need is inside enterprise for the pay per milestone system. And the way things are heading, what we need right now, and this is my own opinion, there'll be some developers that agree with me, the commission was the first thing to target. Getting the voting power really decentralized and getting the chain back to a stable level is everything. And then doing what is more important, I think, than that is the dynamic tax. but you couldn't approach the dynamic tax without correcting this centralization issue. And once we get that tax in place, right, if you understand how long positions and short positions work, the reason why there weren't as many of the short positions and stuff like that when the tax was high was because it wasn't really worth it. Right? The risks and the amount they had to pay and those 1.2% burn taxes really did stem that at its root. So for me, the dynamic tax plays so many different roles on this chain, because when people are starting to do these long and short positions, there's lots of volume, there's lots going on. Guess what? The tax is going to be at 1.2% because for whatever reason, say it breaks the threshold and the bar's put up like it should be, you're not going to have multiple different taxes to deal with. It's going to be very easy to whitelist projects straight onto that dynamic tax system and make them exempt from it. It's going to be all about stabilizing this system, getting a stable platform, getting these two core things built, and then watching things roll back in. And believe me now, they will start to roll back in, because you've got people like White Whale that want to build. The gas is too much. You've got so many different people, so many different projects that are struggling because the gas is bad. Whereas the difference is, if everything was more equal, a more equal playing field that benefits everybody, and when everybody else is benefiting from the chain, we have to pay higher taxes. And it's as simple as that. I'm so excited for the future of this chain being community owned again and people just developing off of their own backs. TFL seem to be paying us a lot more attention. They're rolling out a lot more updates. You can see the rejected proposals again, which I think is bloody marvelous, because you can see just how many failed proposals there's been and how many attempts there's been to get these sort of bad people into play. And that's just my opinion based off historical things that I've seen throughout my lifetime. You know, I'm not the person who would put out tweets with a list of people I hate. I mean, who does that? Who goes and on Agora before they moved us all to the Commonwealth that they own? You can't censor me post 1. You can't censor me post 2. I mean, come on, grow up. We're at a point now where maturity is needed, and I'm always going to be the person to point these things out and sort of realistically, everybody wishes I would just probably write a list of all of the bad people. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is wait for these people to trip up, slip up, so I can report it and go to you, look, hey, you don't need me to come here telling you this person's this, that, and the other, trying to, throw someone in the bindies or under the bus. I'll just show you their actions that they've been doing in the community, and it's as simple as that. And it's kind of like what the L1 are doing, digging their heels in, really sort of acting as if I'm the problem and that things aren't going to get done because, people are too scared to take anything from the community pool now. And it's not like that. If you were honest and you actually wanted to build on this chain, you actually wanted it to grow, you would have understood that TFL is there and they will continue supporting. You would understand that All Nodes provides free infrastructure instead of trying to become TFL and All Nodes combined, because that's what it was all leading up to. Once again, just my own humble opinion. Folks, I'm so excited. Let me know how you're feeling about everything, because where this all starts is sentiment in the community of you knowing that things have changed and that there are people working. We've got people like Frag and Straff that do what they do because they want to do it, because they love the technology, because they love being on this chain. And that's what makes the biggest difference, is that there are people out there that do want to make a difference and they do just want to build off of their own backs, and providing an environment, right, where people like that are embraced is so important, because the more we embrace these kind of people and the way that people embrace me for what I do, right, the more we're going to get people that want to build for this chain, the more we're going to inspire people to come to our cause, to come to our aid, and pick up things off of the roadmaps that we've agreed with the community, with the united vision and all of these different things. A new day is dawning for this blockchain, folks. Believe me that now. There is no such thing as going to the moon anymore. We're going to Mars because there's 2 moons, right? One for Lunar and one for Lunar Classic. Folks, stay safe, stay humble. Chris Armani, if you're listening, reach out to me and I will catch you folks in the next one.